couple of months ago, I uploaded a video teaching all the rhythm guitar parts for the song Tornado of Souls by Megadeth. However, I never got around to teaching the main guitar solo for, obvious reasons, because it's one of the hardest, most challenging solos of all time, and I saw no point in teaching it because not many people, first of all, wanted to even learn it, and second of all, it's just impossible to teach note for note. However, since then, the video has gotten a decent amount of views on it, and I've decided to spend the last couple of months, relearning the solo, working out phrase for phrase, and transcribing it again. So, today I'm going to attempt to teach the entire thing note for note. So, without further ado, let's try. So we're going to have to go pretty quickly, phrase by phrase, because there's a lot to cover, and you should be able to handle it quickly, because if you're trying to learn the solo, then, you don't want to be a beginner trying to learn Wonderwall or something. Okay, we start off with this phrase right here. By the way, my cover is on YouTube. You can click the short section on my YouTube channel and check it out. So we start off with this. It's a bend and release on the 3rd fret of the G string. So you bend it up, and then you release it, and then you bend it up again. So it's a pretty quick up, down, up. Then we're going to go 4, 6, 7 on the G string, and then slide up to 9. Then slide up to 11. Then pull off from 11 to 9. And hit up 9 twice. So. Then play 7, 8. Lots of vibrato on the 8th fret. So we have this so far. Then we have this next phrase. So for that we have 7, 9 on the G string, 10, 7 on the B, 9, 7 on the G, slide down to the 6th fret, and hold that for a little bit. And we have it's a hammer pull from 6 to 7 on the G string, 9, 7 on the D, 9 on the A, back to 7 on the D, then 9 on the D, to 9 on the A. So it's a 6 notes in total. So alright, next phrase. Alright, so for that we have hammer from 9 to 10 on the A, 9, 10, 9, 11, 12 on the D, 11 on the G, to 12 on the B. Then we go between 12 and 14 a couple of times, so you can do a trill if you want to. It doesn't really matter, but it's kind of hard to hear in the recording what he's exactly doing. He's just going between 14 and 12 on the B string a couple of times. So what's clear though is he bends the 14th fret after that on the B string. So after you bend it, release it, and pull off to the 12th fret, still on the B string. Then after you pull off the 12th fret, bend the 13th fret. So that little 4-note ending right there is 12, 12 on the B, 14 on the B as well, to 12 on the G string. So next phrase. Alright, so for that we have 12 on the G string, to 14 on the high E, and then to 15. So then what he does is he picks it sometimes live, sometimes he does like a trill. It's not exact same thing every time. But what I did in my cover, or what I found doing, easiest to play the song is after you do 12 on the G, 14, 15 on the high E. I just do a trill between 10 and 14. So use your index and pinky on the high E string. Then you do 14 on the B to 10 on the high E string. 12 on the B. Oh, you do that twice, by the way. 14, 10, 14, 10. So you do it twice. Then we have 12 on the B, 11 on the G, and once you hit that 11th fret, slide down to the 9th fret. So after you slide down to the 9th fret, go back to the 11th fret and slide down again. So the second time you slide down to the 9th fret, you have a little quick bend and release. Very subtle. You have to pay attention to the recording to hear it. It's not like, it's very subtle. So you slide down from 11 to 9 twice, just remember that. After the bend and release, 7 to 6 on the G string. That's the end of that phrase right there, so hold that with some vibrato. Then we start the arpeggio section. This is a little bit more difficult. Up until this point, it hasn't been crazy difficult, but now it's, he raises up the bar a little bit. So next phrase sounds like this. I'll play it slowly. So he does a series of 4 arpeggios. So they're all kind of similar, like the pattern, but the first one is you're gonna hit the 19th fret on the B string, then do a hammer pull from 15 to 19, then 18 on the G, 16 on the G, 16 on the D, 16 on the G, 18 on the G. So basically, he does the trill, right? And then he walks down the arpeggio, and then he walks straight back up. So after 18 on the G, 15 on the B. So that's the pattern you're going to see. Trill, walk down the arpeggio, walk back up the arpeggio, and that's it. Then you move on to the next one. So that's the next one. So he starts this one, instead of doing trill, he slides this time. The rest of the pattern is the same though. So you slide into the 15th fret on the E string. You can slide in from wherever you want. Just slide into it. After you slide into it, play the 14th fret on the E string. 15, 14 on the B. 16 on the G. So now we went all the way down. Now we're going to go back up. So 14, 15 on the B again. To 14th fret on the high E string. So alright, so we have this so far. Sorry. Alright, then after that we have the third arpeggio now. Alright, so this one's very similar to the first one. Play 19th fret on the E string this time and do a hammer pull from 15 to 19. So it's the same thing as last time, we're just moving it up a string. So then we're gonna walk down the arpeggio just like we did last time. 17 on the B string, 16 on the G, 17 on the D. So now we walked all the way down. Now walk all the way back up. So 17 on the D, right? After that, 16 on the G, 17 on the B. So 15 on the E, right? After you go to the 15 on the E string, we have a different ending. So after you put the 15th fret on high E string, go to the 19th fret and bend it up. So it's a half step bend, or full step bend. Then play 19, 18, 19. hold the 19 for a little bit, add some vibrato to it, then we have the fourth and final arpeggio. This one's very short. Play 19 on the high E string again, so it starts the same. This time do a trill between 16 and 19. So instead of doing 15 and 19, we're doing 16 and 19 now. So now play 17 on the B to 16 on the G. So slide down to the 13th fret. We have that next. So you can just do a sweep picking lick, or you can just pick it whatever you want. 14 on, so after you slide down to the 13th fret on the G string, so we have the E minor arpeggio, D, 14th fret on the D string, 13th fret on the G string, and 12, 12 on the B and the E string. Then we're going to do a hammer pull from 12 to 16 on the high E string. Then come straight down the arpeggio again. So 12 on the B, 13 on the G, 14 on the D. So then we have this next phrase. Apologize if I'm going a little bit fast, because like I said, there's a lot to cover. Before my camera heats up. So this, you can play it two ways. You can either tremolo pick it, or you can just standard pick it. I see a lot of people tremolo pick it, but if you listen to the recording and like the isolated guitar track, which is what I was using to transcribe the solo, it sounds like he's more straight picking it, and when I see him play it live, he does a variation of both. So you can do whichever one you want. I'll just tell you the notes. So 11, this is all in the G string, by the way. So 11, 12, 15, 7, 9, 6. So they all get roughly like three picks, down, up, down. Except for like at the end, between 9 and 6. You just end it a little bit early, so. Or you can tremolo pick it. Whichever one you like, the sound is better, so. So next we have. So what that is 7th fret on the G string, 9 on the D, to 9 on the A. Then you go 7, 9 on the D, 7, 9 on the G. Then half step bend on the 8th fret of the G string. Release it and play the 7th fret. So now we have that part. That's the last phrase before the crazy stuff starts. So it's just a quick little like B minor pentatonic thing going on. So slide into the 9th fret on the D string. After you slide into the 9th fret on the D string, play the 7th fret on the G string, 9th fret on the G again twice. Back to 7th fret on the G, back to the 9th fret on the D. So you have this, it's kind of confusing because it's like the same 2-3 notes, but once you hear it and you get the rhythm and feel of it, it's pretty easy to play. So alright. And then you just walk down the scale. 9-7 on the G, 9-7 on the D. Then go back to the 9th fret and do a quick bend and release. Pull off to the 7th fret. Then play 9 on the A string and go down to the 5th fret, which is the last note before the crazy stuff starts. So we have this. all together. Alright, this is where the fast, insane Marty Friedman stuff starts. This is where Marty Friedman becomes Marty Friedman. So we have that thing. So now you can sweep pick that, or you can regular pick it and use a bunch of legato, like hammer-ons and pull-offs, which is what I was doing. I was doing a combination of both, actually. So after you slide down to the 5th fret, like, and then we're gonna do slide into the 9th fret on the A string, sorry. Then play 8, 11 on the D string. Now you can pick both of them, or you can hammer on. I find hammering on easier because then obviously you can play a lot faster. However, you have to be accurate with the pinky, so you choose whichever one you want to do. I'll just tell you the notes. 9th fret on the A string, slide into it. 8, hammer on to 11 on the D string. Then 9th fret on the G string. And hammer on from 8 to 11. So it's kind of like the same shape. 9 on the string above, then hammer on to 8, 11. 9 on the string above it, and then hammer on to 8, 11. So yeah, next we have this. So after you hammer on from 8 to 11 on the B string, slide from 11 to the 14th fret on the B string, back to 11. So then play the 12th fret on the G string, sorry, and make sure this 11th fret is still ringing out, because if you listen very closely to the recording, it's still ringing out, and it sort of creates this like evil sort of sounding, like it's you hear that dissonance going on, especially with distortion on. You can. It's pretty clear to hear that in the recording. So 12th fret on the G, 14 on the D, down to 12 on the A string. So after you play the 12th fret on the A string, we're going straight back up. So 12 on the A, hammer 11 to 14 on the D, then play 10 to 14 on the B string. Then you can do a little trill between it, or just whatever. Just hold those two notes, 10 and 14 on the B string before the crazy section starts. So slowly we have. Once again. Alright, so now for the next section, there's a couple of ways to do it. Some people just straight pick it, like alternate pick it. The second option is to economy pick it, which you're basically sweep picking at that point. The third option is to like completely sweep it. That's how Marty Friedman does it. He doesn't really use economy picking or alternate picking. He just straight sweeps it. In this case, economy picking and sweep picking is almost the same thing because you're doing many sweeps, and that's what economy picking basically is anyway. But he is doing straight just mini sweeps and a bunch of pull-offs, which is how he gets this part down so fast. Or the fourth option is, which is what I did. If you watch my cover on here on YouTube, you can tap it. So it's a little bit more difficult to tap it to get it up to speed, because if you've never tapped before, then that's kind of hard to do, and you also need like a certain amount of sustain on your guitar and amp, of course, because you know, to get the hammer and pull-offs to ring out. Because if you're playing that fast, then it can be kind of hard to get everything to ring out. But what he's doing here is basically, I've transcribed the arpeggios he's playing, because he's playing over chords that Dave Mustaine is playing. So Marty Friedman is just playing the arpeggios. So I've transcribed the arpeggios he's playing as sweep picking to tapping. So if you want to learn it this way, it's a lot easier, I would say, than, you know, doing what he does, because it's very hard to stretch from like the 10th fret to the 17th fret which is what he does. So if you learn the entire thing and then you get until that point, then you're like, what the hell do I do? I can play up until that point, but after you reach the 17th fret, that's very hard to stretch, because to stretch from here to here, that's incredibly far, and I don't know how he does it, but that's why he's Marty Friedman. So what we can do is just tap it. So this entire line is going to be on the high E string. So what we're going to do for our left hand, which is our fretting hand, we're going to have our index finger on the 7th fret of the E string and the 10th fret, our pinky on the 10th fret. So then we're going to have our tapping finger, it can be your index or middle, whichever one you want, on the 14th fret of the high E string. So let me teach you the pattern. So we're going to tap on the 14th fret. So tap, pull off, and then pull off the 10th fret. So after you pull off the 10th fret to 7th fret, hammer back on. So tap, pull off, hammer. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4-note sequence. So now that's a pattern. So now what's going on the right hand? Left hand stays the same for the majority of the time. The right hand changes up a lot though, so pay attention to the tapping hand. First time you're going to tap once. Next time you're going to tap twice, so it's a double tap. Then do a double tap again. So then we're going to do this. This is the next pattern. We're going to go and alternate between 15 and 14 on the high E string. So 15th fret, do the whole pattern, then 14th fret, then do the whole pattern, 15th fret, do the pattern again, 14th fret. So we have this so far. Sorry. Alright, now we're going to go up to the 15th fret. We're going to do that same thing again. So first we're going to tap once, then we're going to do a double tap. So now we're going to alternate between 2 frets again. This time it's going to be the 17th fret and the 15th fret. So 17, 15, 17, 15. So now we're going to come down to the 16th fret, and now we're going to do that same pattern again. Tap, then double tap, and double tap again. So now we're going to do that alternating between freting again. We're going to alternate between 17 and 16. So okay, so far, hopefully it's not confusing. I try to break it down as much as I could, but a very simple pattern. You do a tap, double tap, okay? Then you alternate between the frets. And then you just keep repeating that process over and over again. So slowly, I'll try to play it. Here's the whole thing together. It's kind of hard to play it more like slowly because I practice it so much at like high speeds. So. So that's what's going on so far. Now, after you alternate between the 17th and 16th fret, this is when we change up the pattern. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move our fretting hand. So from 7 to 10, we're going to move it up. So now instead of it being on 7 and 10, we're going to move it up to 9 and 14. So this one's a little bit of a stretch, but it's not as bad as what Marty Friedman does by any, extent of the imagination. 9, 14. So pattern remains the same, we're just changing the frets. So now, and we're going to be tapping the 18th fret. So same pattern, tap, double tap, double tap. Then we're going to move our tapping finger down to the 17th fret. This is the last one, by the way. And we're going to change our fretting hand this time also. So instead of being on 9 and 14, we're going to go to 9 and 12. So you can use your pinky for this. I find my ring finger easier to use. Whichever one you want, doesn't matter. So from 18 to 17. So here to here. Got it? So alright, so after that, we're finally done with the tapping thing now. Then we do this. We do a half step bend and release on the 18th fret on the high E string, and you add lots of vibrato to it. Sort of bend it up again slightly, and then bring it back down. After that, it's complete chaos. Like you thought this part was hard enough, the tapping section, but this part is just insane. He's just going insane, and just going complete, all out bonkers. So if you watch him live, he never repeats the same thing twice. He's usually doing some sort of pattern, some sort of legato line, maybe just shredding down one string or tremolo picking, whatever. And of course, Megadeth has had a bunch of guitars since Marty Friedman's departure, so all of them do it slightly differently. So every time you look up a performance, depending on whatever year or era it's from, or whatever tour it's from, there's going to be different guitars playing it, you know. So, whatever you want to do, you can do here. After you bend the 18th fret on the high E string, just do whatever, just he just does, it doesn't have to be clean, you could just cause chaos by just like fretting random notes in random order, or just doing a pattern and just tremolo picking. Sort of that thing like Randy Rhoads does in Mr. Crowley, if you like in the outro solo of Mr. Crowley, if you know what I'm talking about. Sort of doing the same thing like that. If you listen closely to the recording, really slow it down. If you want to have something to play and you can't think of anything yourself, what he's doing is hammer pull from 17 to 19 on the B string, then 19 on the high E string. So this is that pattern right there. Then hammer pull between 15 and 17 to 17 on the high E string. So he just keeps taking that down 2 frets. It just goes down all the way to the 10th fret. Sorry. After you get there, then we have an actual lick that you can hear. It's like a blues lick. So very basic blues lick right there. 9th fret on the G string, whole step bend. 7th fret on the B string, then on the high E string. Then whole step bend on the 10th fret on the B string. So that's after the chaos. So hold that for a little bit. Then we have the final lick of the solo, which you can also hear. So the blues lick you can hear pretty clearly in the solo, and this you can also hear pretty clearly. It's just really fast. So that you're hammering on 4, 5, 7 on the G string, and then 4, 5 on the B string. Then you move the shape up 3 frets. So now we're gonna hammer on from 7 to 8 to 9. 7 to 8 to 10 on the G string, to 7 to 8 on the B string. So it's the same pattern, just moved up 2 frets, 3 frets. Sorry. Then take the same pattern and move it up 4 frets. Now we're going to be on 11th fret of the G string. So 11, 12, 14 on the G string. 11, 12 on the B string. And after you hammer on to the 12th fret, hit it again a couple of times, and that's note right there. It's finally the final note of the solo. So and that is Tornado of Souls by Megadeth. Taught note for note. Yes.